Okay. It's okay, yes. So, good afternoon to everybody. This is a presentation to introduce you to the project 3D-COFORM. We are very related to FocusK3D. We follow the development of FocusK3D starting from the beginning, also because one of our main partners, Fraunhofer, is involved in the two projects. So 3D-COFORM is a project to making 3D documentation an everyday choice for the cultural heritage sector. That means that if, as I say always, if a picture is worth than 1,000 words, a 3D image is much more. So let's go through the presentation. As we have only 10 minutes, I will show both contemporary some results and some description. So 3D-COFORM is an integrated project. That means that we are 19 partners with an open project with an open slot for a new partner, and has been funded in the seventh framework program from the European Community. We started our activity in December 2008. We will finish at the end of November 2012, and the total budget is around 8 million euros. So what does the first contact that we did in the first year are achievements that are quite important in a cultural heritage world. Well, what does it mean? It means that 3D-COFORM is not only simply in contact as a project, I'd say project contributor of Europeana version 1.0, but also two of the members of 3D-COFORM, and is me and Martin Der. We are part of the core group of experts of the Europeana network to define a new structure for the Europeana to ingest the 3D models. Also, 3D-COFORM became formally part of the ICOM-CC forum, in which we have some exchanges with the cultural heritage professionals that they usually go on the ICOM conservation and documentation website. What are the objectives of 3D-COFORM? Mainly, the idea is to advance the state of the art in 3D digitization, so 3D everything from the acquisition to the post-processing to the storage to the documentation, and so establishing a way to do 3D documentation and affordable for long-term documentation and effectively daily activity for cultural heritage. This will be the dream, for example, for institutions like I said this morning for C2RMF, that is handling with the problem of documenting works of art. Documenting a painting you can do with a picture, but to document a statue you have to take billions of pictures or have a 3D model. So we have two main branches, let's say three in 3D-COFORM. We have one that is the development that we do in the technological research. Technological research, so I said, is all the pipeline going through the 3D everything. So the capture, the acquisition, the processing, the post-processing, the segmentation, the semantic of the shape, the material acquisition, material properties, data provenance, the long-term, voilà. And this technical research is supported by also a strong business aspect activity. So everything concerning the contact between cultural heritage professional and the technical developers. That means that in order to go in what we think is the right direction, we always ask our cultural heritage partner, we always organize workshops, we always go to workshops organized by cultural heritage professionals, and we ask if our development are going in the right direction. This enables us to create some case studies, some scenarios that in which we can fit the development of our technologies inside this area. So the business model, what does it mean? It means that we create a system that covers all the acquisition process, that covers the exploitation, the testing, and the deployment. So we create we aim to create a workflow planning to give to the cultural heritage professional, defining why, how, and when do 3D digitization. We try to study, this was one of the questions raised this morning, we are trying to study the socioeconomic impact, so finding a way to evaluate how 3D could or couldn't improve the situation of cultural heritage institutions, like in museums, like in documentation systems, etc. We want to create also a virtual competence center called VCC3D. That will be a center and an aggregator of 3D competencies for not only simply for cultural heritage mainly, but due to the composition of the consortium, we want to create something that is a little bit more only giving consultancy in 3D for cultural heritage, but a little bit more. And also we want to create a demonstrator in order to, this is the final project for the inside within the project, is to create something to show that with 3D technology we can achieve some results. So the idea would be to do a kind of or an exhibition or a system that is used in the real world. How is formed the consortium? The consortium is formed by 14 partners. They come from the 3D technology world. In these 14 partners, we have also three SME, and they are mainly Sferon and Broekman for the research in 3D, and then we have CMCC, that they are consultants in Scotland for 3D. And also we have 5 cultural heritage organizations. Between them, we have the Centre de Recherche sur la Musée de France, that they localize himself very close to the Ministry of Culture in France, is located within the Louvre, so they have a continued connection with the cultural heritage partner. And we have also CULNAT, that is the digitization body of Bibliotheca Alexandrina, and they are sponsored by the Ministry of Culture of Egyptian government. Then one of the partners, one of our full partners, is Victoria and Albert Museum, where we are working with mainly with their most technological department, is the photographic department, where they act as a connection between us and the curator and conservator within the museum, and they give out a lot of advice. And we also signed many collaborations with other museums. They are also museums that they proposed us this scenario that in 10 minutes we don't have the time to explain, but that you will see the result, I hope, very, very soon in our website. So we have the Louvre presenting some requests about searching, browsing, indexing object, or we have also the request we will see later about virtualizing the museum itself. We have the Florentine Museum in Florence, the Florentine Museum Authority, which is giving us access to a big, huge collection of ivories. They are very interesting to study from a point of view of real acquisition, because ivories, they are quite a very difficult wide material to acquire. We have the Forum Imperiali di Roma. That is another very interesting museum. We saw before some images coming from Marapacis. We will see at the end a full reconstruction. We have the UNESCO World Heritage Site in Cyprus, that they gave us completely access to all the archaeological sites that they are within the island, in the Cyprus side, and they gave us also privileged access to all the collection within the museum and the archaeological museum in Nicosia. And we also collaborate with the museum the Berlin Museum. So let's start from the beginning. So let's start from the 3D acquisition. What we are doing? We are taking, first of all, the already existent technologies, so mainly laser scanning, structural light scanning, web-based reconstruction with ARC3D that was developed at the beginning within EPOC project. And we are trying to improve this technology, so ameliorating the time of acquisition, doing the technologies more portable, doing the technology a little bit wider for a wider user. For a wider use, we try to specify some protocols of application of these technologies, because actually we can go to a museum, but tell before the heterogeneity of cultural heritage means that I cannot use the same scanner to scan everything. And then we are researching also new technologies, technologies like the dome or the portable dome, that they are based on a system of multiple photo in order to reconstruct the surface, but within this we get also a precise approximation of the surface of the object. We are studying how to acquire the quality of the material with a bidirectional texture function, always doing this, trying to keep the prices of these new technologies the lower as we can, because one of the biggest problems, obviously, in cultural heritage is the money that is not unlimited. So these are also some examples of what we do in the next phase. The next phase, once we have do the acquisition, we want to do processing and analysis of the object. So we have, for example, a reconstruction of a Roman Theater in Paphos. We did the acquisition using a photogrammetry balloon from 50 meters over the sky, and we took many shots. And then using our mesh lab, we did the reconstruction. We superposed with the reconstruction we have done with AutoCAD, starting from the work of the architect that they are in charge of the site. Then we do some kind of, we see some kind of simplification algorithm that they are implemented in MeshLab, that they are new research. We see how Arc3D is working. We see that the photogrammetry now is doing very well in the field of 3D reconstruction. This is a small cube of research in an archaeological site, and we can see how it's very well designed with texture. Maybe not. So this is another phase of the 3D analysis, is the 3D synthesis. So we start from a design, from a map, and then we want to obtain a complete model. So we know that the history of the Louvre started in the 13th century, and the Louvre was not the same like we can see today, but started within a different let's say, competition between different architects. So we had also the Bernini drawing for the Louvre. The one in the bottom is Bernini colonnade. And the idea would be to create a final product showing all the evolution of the design and say how the Louvre could be now, could be today, or how the Louvre was looking like in the 13th century, and do a kind of storytelling. So we are involving, as I said before, not only the aspect of complete 3D scanning, but we want to create a better way to understanding art, if it's possible. This is then we are entering in the business area. The business area, as I said, must work as aggregator of all the technologies partner and cultural heritage partner, taking the ideas and the feedback from one to the other and put them together, and then start working on a kind of specification, kind of protocols. So we do planning, deployment and assessing. That is the first part of the work. In the deployment, we consider also the training, because we want that people from cultural heritage that don't know a lot in 3D, they see what 3D means, so they come in the field with us, they come in the museum with us, they see what the technology do and how the technology is exploitable, so we teach them what they can do with. We also listen to them to see how they want to, how they envisage to exploit the technology. And then this, we want to bring all these results and put them together and build this demonstrator in order to show to a wider public that 3D is nice for something. Okay, this is one of what we can call success story. For example, is our first experiment of documenting a complete archaeological site. Was the archaeological site of Passidi in Cyprus. We did a scan, and we did a multi-level scanning of the site during multi-level acquisition during the digging. So we have many levels of the same point, and we can keep track of how the digging went off, and we can see all the technique that we used in creating these models and the result that they produce. So this is an example of the multi-level of the digging. We see the georeferenced area and superposed with the AutoCAD drawing from the architect responsible of the area. And this is the website of the project, where you can find more information. There is my email. You can also go directly through Andre if you have any specific question about the technologies, or you can contact our project manager. You will find all the information in our website.
Thank you very much. And while the next speaker can set up his presentation, we have time for a question or two. Well, I got a question.
Yeah.
You said you want to connect to Europeana.
Yes.
So I understand the ambition level is you want to define how Europeana will incorporate 3D-CONF. Is that right?
We are already part. We are already part of Europeana, in the sense that Europeana, for what is considered as until the model called Easy was considered an agglomerator, so it's a digital agglomerator. So digital agglomerator can be an imager, a multispectral images, as well as a 3D image. So they don't really care about the substance of the object. What we want to do, what we hope to do, is to bring them a better definition of this 3D, doing kind of more focusing about the technology and the long data preservation.
So, our next project is Cronius, and is presented by Marco Atene from CNR.